Okay, there's no way I could sit on this for very long. I have to most assuredly address the issue and the massive elephant in the room when it comes to Donald J. Trump, and that is the Epstein files. Everyone knows this absolute BS. There's no way we go from having the list on our desk, full transparency. We're going to give you guys everything. Just let us process it. Let us get it prepared for you and go over everything, and we'll give it to you. To there's nothing to see here. That it is a total wash. That there is not thousands of hours of footage. There is no client list. He was not blackmailing anyone, and he did not kill himself. That's not possible. In reality, I mean, in this nation, in this world, it's definitely possible because it happens quite often. One minute it's here, the next minute it's gone. You know, it never existed. It never existed. Okay. This is absolute garbage. And it has set the world on fire. At least the United States part of the world. Even MAGA is calling Trump out, and he needs to be. There needs to be balls and strikes called, checks and balances for everybody, for everyone. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter. You know, I excuse a lot of stuff. His absolute dismissive disrespect for people. Some are deserving of it because of the crap that they put him through that was unnecessary, completely unnecessary. They despise the man for leaving the party and taking all their plans with him and implementing them himself. When that just removes their power, that's why they have nothing to run on anymore. He took everything that the Democratic Party had, to the carrots to dangle over people's heads, and he's put them into play. Everything, literally, and tweaked it a bunch of stuff himself. But the Democrats are in on this with the Republicans. They're all in bed together in regards to the Epstein files and the client lists and that island and the merry band of pedophiles that are being protected. And it's disgusting. We will never know the names on that list, ever. It's never going to happen at all. So you might as well hang that up. And you know, I'm not the only one that's got a problem with this. Like I said, MAGA does. And in this next clip, you'll get a good grasp on one of the, I guess, commentators, reporters, whatever, from TYT Cenk, gets to, give us his take on it. So yeah, here we go.
I want you to understand what Jordan just said. The people who said they definitely were the Epstein files and they were definitely going to reveal them and release them are now saying not only is there no Epstein files, even though they were on her desk and there was truckloads of them, there were no Epstein clients. Hundreds of victims. The FBI once said it could get up into the thousands. Thousands of videotapes. Well, those videotapes were for no reason at all. And it doesn't even matter because there was no clients. No one to be prosecuted. Hundreds of victims. Did they victimize themselves? Well, we're gonna find out apparently. No, actually, we're never going to find out. Isn't it interesting? Democrats and Republicans, and yet both of the parties say, oh, no, there's nothing to see there. It's definitely not us or our intelligence agencies or any of our allies. Definitely not. Well, it doesn't matter because there's no clients at all. Then why is Ghislaine Maxwell in prison? Why did that Prince Andrew give a giant settlement? Why did any of these things happen? Why did all of these people say there was, and then they get in, they go, sweat, as we're about to get into in a second. There is no files, there are no clients. Yeah, sure. So let Jordan explain to you guys, show you the truth and the lies. But if you believe that there were no Epstein clients, you might be the dumbest person in America.
In these next series of clips, you're going to see President Trump and Pam Bondi professing that they're going to declassify and they're going to share the files, the client list, all of it. They've got it. Pam Bondi says she has this, just mounds of papers on her desk, thousands of papers, thousands of hours of footage from Epstein Island. And they're going to, that was the one of the huge pillars of Trump's campaign is full transparency, full disclosure. And that's the reason why they have egg on their face and they're catching such a huge backlash over this, because they're not doing what they said, not sticking to their guns. And the whole country is uniting for the most part against the Trump administration on this issue, because it does not look good. But I mean, you gotta show up with some damn receipts, and here they are.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
There's a moment where you had some hesitation about Epstein, releasing some of the documents on Epstein. Why the hesitation?
I don't think I'm not involved. I never went to his island, fortunately. But a lot of people did.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
He was a good salesman. He was, was a hale and hearty type of guy. He had some nice assets that he'd throw around, like islands. But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger, too, because, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
That's great to hear.
It's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay. You said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. Well, we'll
along
look for
with his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely. And he had help.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
You know, one thing that these politicians some of them are good at is the wordplay, the semantics game, where but you said, no, I didn't say that. And actually what I meant was blah, 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 blah. Karine Jean-Pierre was horrible at doing it. Circle back, Jen Psaki, was much better. She was much more talented, and didn't allow her nerves to get to her. And Miss Caroline Leavitt runs a masterclass every time she is up there behind that podium, and I love watching her. I'm just going to say that, just how talented she is and how well she just straight down the center. It's no sideline with this woman. But you can see her kind of trip up here in this one. Because they have really screwed the pooch on this big time. The Trump administration has they should have never had this as part of his campaign, that they were going to release the files and that client list. But anyways, and check this out.
The DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history. Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people behind bars where they belong. That they promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
So as you can see in that, Caroline Leavitt was kind of caught off guard by Peter Doocy because he comes straight at her. You know, he wasn't disrespectful, wasn't rude, but he was pointed and concise and clear in his execution. And he had receipts. He had the receipts. He had the direct quote from Pam Bondi in regards to the Epstein list, to the client list. And she didn't know what to say. She started deflecting though to stats and how they're putting all these bad guys in prison and you know, taking care of business, blah, 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 blah. And this is the only time I've seen Miss Leavitt tripped up. And, you know, there's things that I don't agree with as far as the Trump administration goes. And there's no way that I can't bring myself to do so. And like I said, I excuse some of his outlandish behavior. I did the first time he was president, his first term. Of course, then it was just pure ignorance. And this man is not ignorant now. There's no ignorance in Donald Trump. There's no stupidity in Donald Trump at all. Well, I mean, there is, but it's not like everyone thinks. It's not. I love how they try to equate Trump to Biden. It's so funny because there's no way that those two are even remotely the same at all on any level, good or bad. He's not mentally failing like Biden is. There's no. Is he on BS? Oh yeah, he's on BS. Just like Biden was, and his entire group of people. I mean, they're politicians. You know, Trump is officially a politician. He's a politician. This is his second term as a president. He's a definite politician now. I declare him so. But I digress. As I was saying, there's certain things that I excuse, but those are things that are harmless, other than some people's feelings got hurt because he said some harsh shit on Truth Social or X or whatever. Or in a press conference or to their face. That some of it's funny. But this is indefensible. There's no good reason. Just a bunch of BS excuses. And I don't buy it for a second. I don't buy that there isn't incriminating material. There isn't an incriminating client list. That all the videos are just of Epstein with these little girls. And that's the only person. I do not believe that for a second. You know, I pay attention very well to people. I watch their patterns. I pick up on them innately. And I'm a very quick study. And I can tell when someone is on straight bullshit. And, well, that's exactly what's going on here. That's just my opinion. You know, what do I know? I'm just a guy. But please tell me what you think. I would love to know in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.